April 15th. Please rise. April 5th. What did I say? It's April 5th. I apologize. Brenton, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we start roll call, I would like to call a moment of silence for Ken Emerson, who was a gentleman that was dedicated to public service in our community. Roll call, please.
McKeever?
Here.
Myers?
Here.
Wireball?
Here.
Potter?
Here.
Sheriff?
Here.
Spiegel?
Here.
Young?
Here.
All right, before you, you have the March 15th, 2022 regular council committee meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections? If not, may I please have a first and a second?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Granting permission for visitors to speak. If you would, please just state your name and address, please.
Carolyn Shireman, 1065 East Bill Avenue in Bucyrus. I have a comment I would like to make to Mr. Mark McKeever. I read your comment that you put in the newspaper, and Mr. Keever, I would like it if you looked at me when I talked to you. Thank you. Don't ever insult my intelligence again. Nobody put me up to file in a suit. I can do things on my own. I didn't need nobody to tell me how to put together the positive seekers, so I didn't need anybody to tell me how to file a suit. Okay? Don't insult me again.
I wasn't trying to insult
Well,
you.
that's how I took it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know you are. Thank you.
Robert Taylor, 411 Plymouth Street. First of all, I'd like to ask for a slight exemption from your 3-minute rule. I feel as a honorably discharged Marine grunt and a taxpayer, my right to redress my grievances to my government, that's been paid for. I will try to get on with this and be inside the 3 minutes, but I'm not going to guarantee it. I would appreciate it if you would exclude me from that for this time. I said a few things I want to talk about. First, I know that last time I was here, you guys mentioned talking about the what I'm going to call the double tax for out-of-town workers. You guys said you were talking about it on April 7th. It's now my understanding from reading public comments, you've decided at the mayor's request to not have that conversation on Thursday. It's my understanding also the mayor doesn't set council agenda. So what are we doing here? That's a rhetorical question. And also I want to talk at some point about some actions and comments from some of our at-large council members. First, I'll start with the mayor's double tax initiative. The issue of not being able to recoup the taxes that out-of-town workers pay in cities they work in does not reside with the taxpayer. It resides with your friends in the Ohio legislature, the GOP, your buddies, Bill Reinecke, Riordan McLean. You can redress your grievances to those people, not the taxpayer. Also, you know, you keep putting out these videos, Mr. Mayor, and I'm glad you're looking for public input, but it's my honest opinion, if you were really looking for public input on this, you just go ahead and put it on the ballot, not make videos. And I haven't heard you talk once about cutting cost. It's more, cutting cost. You know, well, let's talk about that. Maybe just for some examples, some suggestions, maybe we could make the mayor's seat a part-time seat. Cut the pay in half. Get rid of the people that help you. Let's get rid of those people or cut their pay in half, cut their hours in half. Chief of Police makes 6 figures a year, if I'm not mistaken. Have you asked him to take a pay cut to help the city out? Have you asked the fire chief to take a pay cut to help the city out? As city council, have you all thought about maybe taking a slight pay cut to help the city out? No, probably not, because the answer is always more taxes, more taxes, more taxes. And all of a sudden, Mr. Mayor, you're concerned about tax revenue. Well, not so long ago, tax revenue wasn't an issue because you applauded and went along with shutting down local businesses for a pretty good period of time that really had an impact on tax revenue this city brought in. And we can say it's over a pandemic, but let's just be honest, it was from fear of a virus. We shut down our economy and you went along with it. And then you spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of COVID relief money, the COVID cash cow. You had a blank checkbook and you were spending it, and that addiction apparently has not left because now you want you want new parks. And now there's no way to pay for it because that cash cow has dried up. So now it's time to ask the taxpayers for more money for your spending spree. That's absurd. You know, and I will add that even as little bit as that amount is, the 800,000 to the trillions and trillions we've wasted, that 800,000 added to the rising inflation in this country. When you times that over and over and over, every little small town in America, it's part of the reason we are where we are now. And these statements or implications that you've made that somehow out-of-town workers aren't doing their part, I find that absurd, disgusting, and it's pretty divisive. I feel like they're meant to further divide us and kind of shame some of us who don't work here in town. And that kind of rhetoric probably needs to stop. I'll move on to some of my issues with some of the city council members, and I'll start with Mr. McKeever. You made some statements on social media that you had actually trespassed on private property and took some photos and was looking in windows at some residents' private property. Are you peeping Tom? I mean, what are you doing getting on somebody's property?
Mr. Taylor,
That's a question.
I understand, but it's coming across as a little hostile.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you find it hostile or aggressive. I apologize.
I understand your passion and I appreciate it. We just need to maintain
I will like to,
control.
I'll try to tone it down. I'm sorry, I apologize. I would like to mention that trespassing is a 4th-degree misdemeanor. It's punishable by 30 days in jail and a $250 fine.
Taylor, hang on, go ahead.
Article, or Part 4, under citizen participation, any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks who shall become boisterous or physically threatening to members of council, administration, or other in attendance, but while addressing council or committee shall be forthwith by the presiding officer barred from further audience before council or committee, or could be removed. I think we're treading on that.
We're getting close.
Thank you.
We're at 5 minutes. We are at 5 minutes. We're actually at 6. So
Do I have permission to continue, ma'am?
if you can.
I'm
control-
trying to get through
Okay,
it.
Thank you.
Can I get some time back from Dan?
Go right ahead.
Okay. First of all, free speech is to allow dissenting voices, regardless of the manner they're delivered, minus direct threats or obvious slander. I don't feel I've obviously slandered. I asked a question. It was take it however you want. I understand. I will try to tone that down. But this is for Dan, and about Dan having a resident removed from having a dissenting voice. If you want to live in an echo chamber, I would recommend joining Twitter and follow all the blue check marks. Some of your statements to Crawford County Now, Dan, I find pretty disturbing, very divisive. You covered a broad range of things on a national level that have nothing to do with you walking out of a committee meeting. Absolutely nothing. And it just further drives the divide. And just for the record, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic. I could go on and on with some of the things you said. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. I will say that the fact that no discipline was found for Dan just looks like as optics. the good old boy network is in full display here. The rules don't apply there, but apparently they apply for everybody else. I feel like, in response to Dan saying people like me, because I think that's who he's talking about, don't belong in his community, well, Dan, I think extremists like yourself don't belong in my community.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
For the record, I don't believe I've ever said that.
I timed it, so I'm not going to go over. Lisa Alsep, 1323 North Sandusky. I'm here again because I have some questions. After I was told multiple times at a finance committee meeting that the tax reduction would be discussed at the April 7th committee meeting, the mayor has decided this will not happen. I'm confused as to why the mayor gets to decide when council committees discuss things, and I'm wondering if it's because he is actually being challenged in the Republican Central Committee right now. At this time, I would like to request that council remove it from the open projects list so that the community is given a notice, an ample notice as to when it will be discussed, so that they have the opportunity to voice their concerns. I would also like to respond to the mayor's informative Disney-type video. I am not uninformed on how this tax reduction works. To the people that live and work here, it is no different for them. To someone like myself that works out of town, it is different for me. However, there would be no additional tax to those who live here, but to those of us who don't work here, it is an additional tax. The second nose-growing lie would be that the mayor has only missed 2 meetings in 8 years. I'm sorry, I sat in that seat right there and he missed for months because Kurt and him could not get along or had personal problems between the two. The third nose-growing lie is that the mayor has only received 2 calls. When he said that, I had multiple friends that had called. There seems to be some issues with the phones being answered. Some did get responses from emails, others did not. In response to the no new parks, the Bicentennial Foundation plans a park. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is that the city also helps maintain parks that are not owned by the city, such as the trash receptacles being changed at the Fountain Park and things like that. If we're shorthanded or if we're making cutbacks, those are extra work. In the past, I voted to lower the tax reduction. I actually voted to pay 0.25% more because our law enforcement was suffering. That is not the case at this point. There is a permanent safety levy in place. And once that safety levy was passed, we were told that we would go back to receiving 100% credit. The safety levy was passed. Crestline does give 100% tax credit, and they're one of the closest communities to us. Mr. Reeser has stated multiple times that our community needs more parks, needs a park director, that he can pass a parks levy. Then I suggest that's what this needs to be, is a parks levy put on the ballot for the citizens to decide. Please stop telling people this is because of safety forces, health department, or our streets, which, by the way, there is a streets levy that will be coming up again, and I can almost certainly guarantee that it will fail if your out-of-town workers are expected to pay more taxes. I employ council members to remember that they are elected to represent the citizens that live in their areas.
May I respond?
Thank you.
May I respond?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Alsop?
Yes.
Do you know what the total budget is for the police and fire department? You were on city council 2 years, you should know that.
I do not know what it is.
You were on city council for 2 years. You don't know that number?
I answered you. I do not know.
Do you know how much the safety forces levy brings in per
Is this
year?
considered an attack on Lisa?
No, it's okay.
Hostile back there?
I'm just asking a question. Do you know how much it brings in?
Your
It
voice
brings
is
in, it brings in.
Okay. We're moving on. Yes, you don't know what the budget is for this year because you weren't involved in passing it.
Thank you.
That was her point. I understand your point
I
as
didn't
well.
say this year. I said, what does the city spend on the budget for police and fire? So, it's all
All
I
right.
wanted to know.
Anybody else?
And for the record, if the safety forces levy brings in $1.7 million of that $4 million, it doesn't cover the whole thing, so.
Would you like
Thank
to
you.
discuss the profits that the ambulance is gonna be making?
There will be no profits for the
Okay.
ambulance.
Okay.
$1,000 taking my dad $2.
Bill Colley, 1118 Reed Street. I got my Kiwanis hat on today. The Kiwanis Club here in Bucyrus has been putting out flags on downtown Bucyrus for a number of years. I remember years ago there were holes drilled in the sidewalks, and we used to put flags out just on flag holidays. But since the city put up light posts, we've been putting them on the light posts. And we put them up before Memorial Day, and we leave them up until after Veterans Day. And I mean, recently, we haven't been able to put them in all the light posts because some of the holders are missing, and some just aren't able to put the flag holders in. And we'd like to put them all in. There's over 80 flags through town. And a few years ago, we used to alternate federal and state flags. But recently, we've just been using a federal flag. So what we're planning on doing is putting all the flags in before Memorial Day, maybe have the city look at the ones that aren't installed and make repairs on the posts so we can notify us and we'll put them all in. Yeah. Another side note, Kimmel Cleaners this year, of course they're gone from town now, but they were good enough to launder all the flags that flew last year at no cost. So if you talk to Kimmel people, thank them. Okay, so,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Can you make a note of that to,
Ready, thank you.
well, that would be nice too, but for,
To look, have somebody look at all
yeah, look
the,
at the posts.
Okay, I'll take care of them.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Bill Kennedy, 1467 Whetstone Street. Here, I wish I would have written something up, but I didn't. So it will be definitely less than 3 minutes. The double dipping taxes. This has been brought up numerous times over God knows how many years. You know, being called not a new tax is incorrect if you're talking to me. I've never paid that tax. I pay as much tax as anybody else does, actually more, because I do pay Bucyrus city tax along with Willard tax. You know, it's money. It's money. And as far as, you know, people working out of the city that are not part of the city, ask Mr. Reeser, okay? I'm part of the city. I don't know, you gotta agree with that,
I know you are.
okay? So, you know, there are people that work out of the city that would rather work in the city and not drive 30 miles and pay the gas money and get up half an hour early and get home in half an hour late. I would rather work in the city. 30 years ago, you should have showed me the job. Thank you very much.
Right then off 210 Ethel Street. I also am a person that works outside the city limits. I worked at Baja Boats for 20 years until they closed, and I was forced to find employment out of town. And I did that for 10 years, then that place closed. Then I was also forced again to find employment outside the city limits. And I'm getting really tired of being insulted, saying that I don't pay my share. And if you do this, could do away with the tax credit, the people that are gonna hurt. Park District, all these people wanting levies, renewals, new levies. You add an extra $1,000 of tax to me, and I can't vote for a new levy or any kind of new levy. So I think it'll be a big mistake. You need to think about it, think hard about it. And there is an awful lot of signs around town. And I don't think all them people with signs are liars. obviously. I've got 2 signs. I'm not a liar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn Shireman, 1065 East Bill. I want to say something.
Point of order.
Yes,
She's already been up here once.
and she didn't take up her full 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Are you
Go ahead.
sure?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I want everybody out in the city to know that I went to the Republican Central Committee meeting last night, and I took a doll and I made a sign with no more taxes and no more new parks in Bucyrus, and I brought it up at the Republican Central Committee because a lot of the people didn't even know. And Gibbons, the lady campaign manager with Gibbons, she asked me what it was about, and I told her. And I said that the mayor said revenue. So I'm fighting for you guys out here. Thank you all.
Joshua Dyer, 2664 Albright Road, not necessarily kind of city resident, but here on behalf of the Crawford Park District to kind of express some, to just kind of dispel any misunderstanding possibly on some of the signage that is going up in town. You know, the Crawford Park District's been around since 1994. For years, we operated on local government funds, which were very minimal. We operated on donations. That was it. And we were a short staff, small staff, 3 people. My full time was 4 days a week up until 2012. That was my full time. And I did it because I loved it. I did, you know, providing programming to the school kids, providing public programming. And I mean, I just kept growing and growing. Those programs just kept growing and growing. And in order for us to provide that need, we needed a little extra revenue. And in 2012, we did place a levy before the voters of Crawford County, and it passed. The voters said yes to a 0.4 mil 10-year levy. And since then, we have been able to add some additional staff. And as of now, we the 2 naturalists and myself, we provide programming to 20,000 plus citizens in the county and surrounding county. You know, we bring in people from out of this county to come here and visit Crawford County because of the facilities that the Crawford Park District offers. You know, our nature center has over 20,000 visitors a year, and that's not just for the programs. That's just people walking through the door. And every week somebody walks in and they notice, or you notice that they've never been there before. Every week they walk in and all to see the bison on the wall, the tree that their kids are running over to. You know, they turn around and look at their parent like, is it okay? And we're like, yeah, go play in that tree. Go play in that tree. And you know, we get other park districts that come to us and they say, darn you, Crawford Park District, everybody comes to our nature center wondering if we have a tree, you know. You know, and so the programming has just been growing and growing. And you know, our parks, we just finally added in the years that I've been here, we finally added 1 more park. You know, it's not, you know, we're small. We can't keep adding parks. We just finally added one last year, which is right across the road from Low Volk Park, Sandusky Headwaters Preserve. A wonderful place that was funded in part through some Clean Ohio funds that, you know, didn't cost us, didn't cost you, and also through the Division of Wildlife with some wetland restoration. And so, you know, we're at that time now. Our 10-year period is up. And so, you know, this 0.4 mil levy, people have been paying on for the last 10 years. This is not a new tax. It's, you know, you see the signs in town. I just want to stand up here and say that the signs that you are seeing in town with the little black lettering and the white background, those have nothing to do with what the Crawford Park District is trying to achieve in this community. You know, roll back 2 years ago when you guys weren't even here, nobody was here, you guys, you know, you weren't working, some of you possibly, and so we're working from home. People were still coming to our parks. I mean, the traffic that we had through our parks was phenomenal. We were still going in, we were in the middle of an audit, and we were still going in, and, every day I'd leave the nature center at 4 o'clock, there'd be 30 cars in the nature center parking lot. I'd drive by Heckert out on 19. I'd drive by out by Unger. I'd drive by Sears Woods. As small as that little parking lot is out by Sears Woods, that little thing, it holds as many cars that would fit in here, and it was packed. So, the need for the park district has been, I think, shown in the community. Our naturalist staff go to the parks, or go to the public schools, pre-K through 3rd grade, once a month. These kids are getting constant environmental education that they aren't getting otherwise, and the educators appreciate it. They keep calling us back. To me, that is testament of the need for a park district. And so, I just wanted to kind of, get some information out there that our yellow and green signs have nothing to do with the black and white signs that are in this community. As a citizen of this county, I don't like to see the disunity of our community in regard to that, but I also want our populace to know that those two signs have nothing to do with each other. Please, get out and vote. I can't stand up here and tell you guys to vote yes or no. But I can tell you to go out and vote, please, on May 3rd. And I know, Ray, you've been a benefactor of some of the hunting lotteries that we've put on.
I honestly gotta tell you, if they do away with this tax credit, I don't know what's gonna happen
Right.
to the park district. No, it's kind of scary.
Right. The city income tax has nothing to do with what the Crawford Park District is trying to renew. So I appreciate the time.
Josh, Rotary Day, you said, was it $12?
Yes, a $100,000 home, our property valuation is $12.60 a year. That's it.
A year.
$12 a year.
A year.
$12.60.
0.4 mils, correct?
0.4 mils. And people talk about getting bigger and stuff, and that 0.4 mils just is only 0.4 mils. That's all. That's it. That's what we get.
Is it for another 10 years?
This would be for another 10-year renewal. Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
I was just
Sure.
gonna say, it's just a renewal, it's something we've already been paying, and they've got the summer camp all booked up with kids waiting in line in case there's an opening. This really helps our kids.
Did you bring any signs?
Yes.
I have a truckload of signs. I have a truckload of signs.
So anybody here tonight can pick up a sign and put in their yard, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Anybody else?
Dollars.
Jessie Verner, 118 West Southern Avenue. I just want to come up here and support Josh and say that I have 4 signs that I really need to get rid of, so they're in my car, please get them for me. And I just want to say these summer camps, they do cost a lot of money, but the Park District has private donors, so anyone in our community has access to the summer camps, even if you can't pay for it. You just have to contact them. That's all you got to do. So, thanks. See you guys Thursday.
Thank you.
Our programming is free aside from our nature camp. That is the only thing that we pay for, that people are paid for. Programming is free. Coming to visit schools is completely free.
All right. Anybody else? All right. We have communications and petitions. We have some emails that were received by elected officials. If you would go ahead and read those.
Yeah, the first 2 are regarding taxes, the last one is not, so. The first one is from Joshua Scott. It says, "We do not need any more taxes. The working people already pay too much now. My wife and I had to work out of town to get good paying jobs. Hopefully we can vote all of you out of office if our taxes go up." First one. Second one is from Jesse Chatfield. This is addressed to Mark. "Hi Mark, my name is Jesse Chatfield. I live at 708 Prospect Street. I'm writing to voice my problem with the city tax. I drive a semi-truck based out of Upper Sandusky and I have to pay 1% tax there, and I feel like I shouldn't have to pay 2 city income taxes. I think they need to keep it the way it is. This way I am paying the same amount to both cities. I do not feel I should have to pay a total of 3%, because in all actuality, I don't even work in Upper either. I drive to either Chicago, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, or Cincinnati every night. I don't mind paying my share of taxes, but I feel that paying 2 cities' income tax is a little excessive. And plus, I already pay a substantial amount of property tax here, too." That was Jesse Chatfield. Okay, the last one here is from Brittany Wireball. This was addressed to elected officials of Bucyrus. Elected officials of Bucyrus, I am writing to all elected officials of the city of Bucyrus to express my concern and extreme disappointment of the lack of support that some elected officials of Bucyrus have received on behalf of the city. Elected officials are employees of the city of Bucyrus. They should all be supported and held with the utmost respect at all times, and most certainly from their fellow elected officials. Over the past 2+ years, you have had numerous people of the public become more and more aggressive with their harassment towards your elected officials, for nothing more than a power trip to exasperate some sort of superiority complex. It is time to stand up and start supporting your employees and coworkers, namely Vicki DeShawn, Kurt Fankhauser, and Carolyn Shireman, are to name a few examples. Vicki DeShawn on numerous occasions has berated, belittled, and even harassed countless officials to the point of resignation. When is this behavior going to be addressed? When do you put your foot down, step in, and say that enough is enough? This behavior is an extreme toxicity to the service that your elected officials provide to Bucyrus. How can anyone succeed or accomplish any progressive actions towards bettering the city when they have this encounter week after week? How many hours have city council members and the law director spent researching and responding to pointless complaints made by these members of the public? There has to be some resolution to these antics before you end up losing more and more devoted city employees who sincerely have the city's best interest at heart. With the lack of support I have seen city officials receive and watching employee after employee resign from their positions, how are you going to encourage upcoming members of the community the confidence to take over these seats? The answer is you won't. I operate a real estate agent brokerage in Columbus, Ohio. I have 8 employees on my payroll. Their actions are my actions. When they are in the wrong, then I am in the wrong. However, if they were to do something that was not correct, I immediately step in and support them in some way to be able to succeed and grow. I would never allow customers, clients, or the public the ability to berate or belittle my employees or coworkers. Even more so to that point, where they would resign from their positions. You have a severe issue going on in the way the meetings are being run, and more importantly, the lack of support you are all showing your fellow elected officials. I ask that you all do your due diligence and seek to find a better resolution to show things are being handled during public meetings. I fully comprehend that there are rules and procedures and how things are to be handled when it comes to holding public meetings. However, there's no excuse whatsoever that employee after employee are being treated the way that they have been treated at nearly every public meeting for the past 2+ years. It is time to step up and make some changes, not only for yourself, but for your employees, colleagues, and your city. In closing, I want to thank you for taking the time to understand the sincere concerns I have for your city and your employees. There are major issues that your elected city officials should be devoting their time to, rather than wondering what topic they are going to be publicly berated on during the next public meeting. This behavior is counterproductive and should be addressed on how it can be resolved, while still supporting your employees to be able to progress forward with your city. Respectfully, Brittany Wireball.
All right. Does anybody have any other communications to share? Standing committee reports.
Carol Sherman is pointing at me.
Since my name was brought up in that, am I allowed to respond to that?
No, ma'am.
Do I have to sit here and take that insult from Wireball's sister? Or his daughter?
It was a correspondence that was read, that was sent to all elected
Right, but
officials.
I'm referring
I understand
to it,
that, ma'am.
So I should be able to speak for myself on that.
Is she a resident?
And I only take a minute. 1 minute. I need to respond to that. I'm named in that.
She live here.
It doesn't matter.
Dan read about attacking.
But she live here.
Exactly. He put her up to join because they were at the courthouse. Can I respond to that, please, Jenny, for just 1 second?
My cousin from Georgia has something to say.
Point of order,
Am I entitled to, yes or no? I got a 1 minute response. Less than a minute.
We've got a city council meeting.
Yes, we
were
do.
elected.
Well, then you shouldn't have had your daughter write
Point of
this
order.
letter.
We were elected to do the city's business, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
And all 8 of us up here need to do that. Now, some of you guys kind of sit there with your head under your wing, stand up. We've got a job to do. People elected us.
Can I please have a minute?
The other
It
thing I
is
want
a
to
tax.
add,
The
I would
only
like to
damn
add
right is
something
allowed to
too.
tax people.
You know,
Jenny, can I comment
people-
for a minute?
people watch this, potential employers watch this dog and pony show. And,
You're part of it.
Please refrain from comment.
and I would like to just point this out, that we have got to get control of this situation here.
Of course we do.
All right?
May I say something, please? 1 minute.
We are moving on. Thank
Can I
you.
just say one thing?
Plating,
I have nothing to report.
This ain't
public
right.
lands and buildings,
Nothing reported this time. No,
Health
they're
and
not gonna
safety?
throw me out. I'm going
No
to
report.
going on Facebook.
finance,
Do not get away with this one, Wireball.
No comment. Or no,
nothing to
No
report.
report.
nothing to report.
Economic
And no
development,
comment.
Nothing to report at this time.
service,
No report this time.
traffic commission.
Nothing to report.
Traffic Commission.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Mayor, I brought it to Mr. Dunn's attention. It kind of threw me for a loop this morning when I
Yes.
drove through town. The lights
Yes,
were
yes.
still
He said he
flashing.
talked to you early.
And he explained it.
You wonder why you're going to work so early.
Well, the question is, has Warren Street been able to be addressed? Where the
Ye-
light doesn't...
Yeah, I went over that with him. Was it done to your satisfaction?
I'll find out.
Okay.
I haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to
He
see. but-
he was going to change that.
Okay.
Yeah, change it, yeah. So we talked about that last week, same time he decided to extend that on the flashing
The
lights.
point was, the light was tripping when there was no cars there.
It's on a, that is actually not on a trip. That is actually on a cycle.
Oh, I thought it was on a... Like
Warren and
Rensselaer.
Rensselaer are on cycles.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So,
Thank you.
All right, report of city officers, Mr. Mayor?
Madam President, I think this shared.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was wondering if you had a meeting.
We did have a meeting last week, yes. We'll have some, at the next meeting, we'll have the minutes to read over.
I say, did you guys look at the extension out there of Whetstone being 25 miles an hour?
It was not brought up, to be honest with you. I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, let me make a note of that, too.
I was passed again on Whetstone Street, right there at the fairgrounds, because people don't seem to comprehend that you can't pass in town, or that it's only 25 miles an hour. They get a little frustrated, and then they pass you, and beep at you, and curse.
I've already brought that up to the police department, so I'll bring up the traffic commission at the next meeting.
Any other questions for the traffic commission? All right, Mr. Mayor, your report.
Thank you, Madam President. I thank you for the moment of silence for Ken Emerson, who was a distinguished citizen and a longtime member of city council. His family moved to Bucyrus when he was in high school, and he was involved in many organizations in the area, and he made a big difference, especially after retirement. He wasn't content at sitting at home, but he felt the call to serve the citizens. I think he did that for 12 years. Yes, 12 years. Very soft-spoken, but, very thorough and a great council member. Got along with everybody, a true gentleman. I got to know him also through the Board of Zoning Appeals, did a wonderful job there. He served for the right reasons. He wanted to make this city better and put the citizens first. And our sympathy goes out to Mrs. Emerson and the entire family. Thanks for sharing Ken with us. He will be missed. We also lost Ray Patterson, that was Kelly's dad. Also a longtime resident, moved here in early adulthood, involved in many, many organizations. He loved life, his family, his community, was involved in many service activities and organizations, especially Masons, did a wonderful job there. Extend our sympathy to Kelly and Kim and Ray's family, and he will be missed too. And I want to ask you a question. This is a rhetorical question. What do both of these fine gentlemen have in common? Pause for a second here. He said just two things. They moved to Bucyrus for opportunities, and they took responsibility themselves for making this a better place. Not tearing things down or tearing it apart, but coming here to make it better. That doesn't mean agreement and everything, but they put themselves in the back to make this city better. Great citizens. Our responsibility as elected officials, and every citizen for that matter, is to take ownership of Bucyrus. The big challenge today is to make the citizens take ownership and making it better for future generations. And I ask you to remember that responsibility. Everyone watching at home, on Facebook, just as Ray and Ken did. May they rest in peace. And if I can add one thing, if you look around the sides of City Hall here, do you see anything different? Do you remember all the cords that were coming down low, all the red and the black cords that hung low? Like those cords over there, all on the side and on the back? They're all missing, thanks to John Rostesh, Jeff Dunn, and Mike Billman, our new maintenance man. And there's a little bit more work to do yet, but it makes the council more presentable. And he's done some really good work, so nobody noticed it, but that's okay. Mike doesn't get his feelings hurt easily, so. And that's it for tonight. Thank you.
Safety Service Director's report.
There we go. Jeff's got some referrals. The Warren Street Sewer Project to Service and Finance. And the Rumpke Trash Haulers to Service Committee. And he would like to refer Lions Park Grant to Service Committee.
Finance?
Oh, did I say finance? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is finance. Yeah, I'm sorry. And he would like to refer CMT, that's our airport engineers, to Service Committee. One more, I see here, I'd like to refer Parcher Road Waterline to Service and Finance, both. Board of Control was held this week. Last week. We awarded 2022 Mill and Pave project. Also National Lime and Stone, Carmuse, USALCO, Core and Main, and Ferguson were awarded various material bids for 2022. The farmland bids were not awarded, but are being rebid and will be opened on April 25th. And the 2022 OPWC Woodlawn Waterline project was not awarded because the bids were more than the engineer's estimate. Therefore, they will be rebid as well. The exam for zoning administrator position was held, and we are waiting the results. I think they just came in today. This was written on Monday. We're looking for 2 part-time workers for the parks, and we are still needing lifeguards. Please get an application on our website or stop into the mayor's office. Certification classes to become a lifeguard are still available. Contact us for more information at 562-6767, extension 221. We've got a couple new hires, one to our fire department, Scott Kidwell, we swore in last week, and Derek Flynn is a new employee of the solid waste department. Welcome to both of you. The aggregation program, we were able to renegotiate our water treatment plant and our wastewater treatment plant electric rate down to 0.041 hours per kilowatt. It's a great rate. That's for those 2 plants. Gas rates are looking good, and we are keeping our eye on the electric rates to blend and extend our new aggregation program. For those that are on the city aggregation program, you will find you're paying 50% at least less than the market right now, especially since the war in Ukraine has gone up dramatically. And if you opted out of that, well, you've cost yourself a bunch of money, but we might be able to get you back in if you call City Hall. We're having a cleanup week, May 2nd to May 6th. You'll be allowed 6 extra trash bags. See the city website for additional items and the cost per item. Compost site, as we mentioned, the last meeting is now open 7 days a week from 8 to 2. And Good Friday is coming up next week. All non-emergency city offices will be closed on Good Friday. garbage pickup for that day will be moved to Monday, April 18th. But please have your garbage out by 7 a.m. And if you have any questions, see our city website. Thank you. That's it for Jeff's report.
Thank you very much.
Another question?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, could you ask the service director about checking out a street light on Grove and Sittler, I think, where Mr. Jeff Thompson lives at?
Yeah.
He said there's no street light
Right.
around his house, but there is clear down the street where nobody lives.
We've had some requests for streetlights, different parts, so we're working with AEP right now.
Okay.
On that, yeah. I didn't hear about that one. What did you say, Sittler?
Grove and Sittler go
Grove
to
and-
intersect.
Well, it's somewhere down in there on Grove. I can't remember what street it was.
We'll check it out.
He asked me
Either be
about it.
Oakwood, Euclid, or Southern.
No, none of those. It's not Grove. It's-
I can look up, see where Jeff lives and check it
But he
out.
asked me
so.
about it a couple weeks ago. I forgot what the street address was, but I'll find that out, make sure you know it, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not so much a question, a complaint.
Okay.
I brought this up in the past. I want to voice a little displeasure. We
Okay.
had another firefighter sworn in, and we weren't made aware of that. And I brought that up in the past. I think as elected officials, we should be there to support these people. And
I think it's
I'd ask that maybe we re-examine things in your office, how information's disseminated. I really
Okay.
like to have known about that, so.
Okay, we just kind of assumed that the chief has let everybody know,
Well,
so
that's-
I'm gonna throw him under
yeah,
the bus.
Just throw somebody, let's
Yeah.
make it a priority.
I think that's a great
Somebody knows
idea.
the job.
Yeah.
Sometimes
yeah.
we're made aware and sometimes we're not. I would like to have been.
That's a very valid point,
Thank
I'm
you.
sure, yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gerner.
You have on your receivership, so I'd like to ask for that issue of receiverships be referred to the Health and Safety Committee. I talked to Jared Miller and his business partner, whose name escapes me. But it's an interesting idea whereby they come in, no cost to the city, take control of the property, get the property back up to code, and then have the ability to return the property to the landowner if they have the ability to afford the repairs, or if not, then sell it to a third party, recouping their money, which would be a great idea because we have a lot of dilapidated homes that are continuing to simply deteriorate, and then they get to the point where there's no value and we just tear them down and we have a further housing issue. So I think they're coming on Thursday, so I would refer that to Health and Safety. And then today we have on the agenda to pass the stormwater ordinance. That stormwater ordinance creates some new responsibilities for the Stormwater Utilities Appeals Board, which then in the underlying Stormwater Utility Appeals Board, they don't have the authority to hear those appeals. So I would refer that to Service Committee to then fix Bucyrus Codified Ordinance 927.09, adding in the authority to hear these illegal discharge and whatever the other word is. Service Committee. And that's all I got today.
All right.
Questions, comments, concerns? You had called me about signage. So it's against the Bucyrus Codified Ordinance to put any signs in Bucyrus publicly owned lands. And so it's an unclassified misdemeanor. So you could charge somebody with a unclassified misdemeanor fine of up to $50 to $500 per day per violation. But then it's, I don't know who puts these signs in random places. You can't charge the campaign.
To stop, I mean,
Yeah.
If it's got your name on it, you're responsible for it.
Not legally. I can put a sign anywhere. I could put, Blystone in city property, and Blystone doesn't know who I am. He has no mens rea, he's done nothing culpable.
They need to start getting removed then.
Yeah, I mean, we do need to remove him from city-owned property.
Sitting where they're sitting, things get stuck in places.
Yeah. And it's an unclassified misdemeanor, but
I'll say, yeah.
you also then do have, the city has the authority to get rid of them.
Putting them in other people's property without their permission.
Right, and that's like trespass and other criminal issues, but.
This time we're right back, it becomes a problem.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Anything else?
Are you asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we still going to put that stormwater ordinance up for vote tonight? Or do we need?
Yes.
So
We
it is-
can pass that one, and then we'll just have to go back and correct the Stormwater's Utility Appeals Board subsequently.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
Point of order, I believe we need to vote to put all these various referrals into subcommittees.
Well, I was gonna wait until after
Well, then we can
Mrs.
do that.
Schiffer got her, assuming she has financial referrals. So,
Yes, ma'am. Hey, I'll give you a break. You have my monthly reports, the statement of cash position, the tax revenues, and the revenue tallies to budget. We're pretty much on target right now, but March is the month when property taxes come in and that kind of thing, so it gives us a bump. The income tax office has been very busy, and things are going well there, but we're also seeing a lot of refunds being issued also due to legislation down in Columbus. And as far as the COVID exemption for people who are working from home. So at this point, we've already refunded about $76,000 out of our tax revenues. So I don't know where that's going to end up. Well, there's a lot more to come in yet. Just wanted to apprise you of that. I do have referrals. I need to refer one appropriation in the general fund for donations that were made to the Police Explorers in the amount of $1,050. $1,000 of that was from one individual who donated $500 and the Kiwanis Club that donated $500 so that our Police Explorers could go to their competition down in Columbus this month. So we need to get that in the appropriation and so that we can pay their way to go. I also need to refer transfers within the Waterworks Fund and the Sewage Disposal Fund due to increases in costs for our water and sewer projects that are slated for this year. We'd gone out to bid for our OPWC project, and that was on Woodlawn. And due to the price increases for water lines, and this is a major pipe going in there, I believe we were told the cost per foot when the estimates were made were $44 a foot. They're now $102 a foot. And that made a substantial difference. So the city's share of this project's going to be more, and we need to be doing some transfers to make all of this work. So we'll have the breakdown for that and explanations for Thursday's finance meeting. And that's all I have right now.
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask the auditor a question. You mentioned property tax, we're receiving that. Can you let everybody know how much we receive in property taxes every year approximately? About $350,000, right around there?
Yeah, roughly.
So-
Our net is probably more like, I'm trying to think the breakdown, closer to maybe 250,000.
And that doesn't even-
Because our health department subsidy comes out before we get the net.
So about not even $20 a person. So people think we get everybody's property taxes go to the city, it just isn't true, so.
The majority of property taxes go to our schools.
Schools, of course, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions for the auditor? All right, so I have referrals.
I do have, Madam President,
Yes,
I have one thing that I didn't talk about. So when we published for the DORA, April 5th was the meeting where we were to discuss that. And so it may need to be referred to committee to then request legislation to then approve or disapprove said DORA.
I believe it's still an open project.
So I guess
I brought that question up previously and if we needed to refer, I was told it's still an open
it's still
project.
open. Gotcha. So I guess then.
Unless you want to refer it just to be safe.
No. I was just remembered, well, whatever, yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And it's referred to.
It's going to finance. Dora?
That health and
Sure. Health and safety.
Health and safety, I believe. It's health and safety.
Do we know that for sure?
Or was that economic development?
No, that's where we tried to put it in the past,
Assistant
and I think it was incorrectly done, if I remember.
Things or for appropriation.
Just like the outside seating was
Yeah.
to go to health and safety. So it would be, the door would be the same
I
thing.
don't refer to health and safety and finance, just to be safe.
Great.
And then he referred receivership to health and safety.
Yeah, receivership. And then we got the
Refer to them all.
927.09.
Ad hoc committee.
That one.
What one is that?
From Mr. Burnett. Changing the codified ordinance
Oh, okay.
927.09.
Referred to.
Service. All right. I have referrals for appropriations to finance, Warren Street Sewer Project to finance, Rumpke Trash Haulers to service, Lions Park Grant to finance, CMT Airport Engineers to service, Parcher Road Waterline to finance, receivership to health and safety, door to health and safety, and the codified ordinance 92709 to service.
So
Do you want
moved.
me to collectively or
Collectively, we're.
As long as
collectively?
you're okay with that.
I'm good with it.
So moved
All right.
collectively.
And I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There you go. Thank you. All right. Did we receive the treasurer's report?
No.
Okay, we did not receive a treasurer's report.
This back here too, this is the back part.
Yes.
That's what you said.
All right. Police Department monthly report in March of 2022. Bucyrus police officers were involved in a total of 773 incidents. There were 139 traffic stops in which 17 tickets were issued. Of the tickets, 10 were for driving under suspension. 4 people were arrested for operating a vehicle while intoxicated, and officers made 4 felony drug arrests and 5 misdemeanor drug arrests in February. Officers responded to 21 domestic calls, 1 overdose, 6 assaults, 16 traffic crashes, 5 private property crashes, 53 vehicle lockouts, and 12 larceny complaints, and dispatch handled 10 emergency medical dispatch calls. So that's the police report. You have also before you the fire month report.
This is just their billing, this is not
Yeah, this
their
is-
run totals.
That's all
No.
it sent me.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for the officers regarding their reports? If not, I have a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we have time for visitors to address regarding the standing and special committee reports and the city officer reports. Mhm.
I just want to know if they're going to take that off the open projects list like I requested.
We
The-
would have to do that at committee.
Okay. So adding things to open projects is done, but not taking away.
We refer from here. Once
Right.
it's referred, we have to do it, take it away in committee.
Okay. So, but nobody referred it, that's what I'm saying. When she read through the referrals, it wasn't referred to remove it, to.
That's not how that works.
It's already on.
It's already in committee.
It's already an open
It's already in
projects
committee.
list. I'll just be here at every meeting now.
Has that been referred, has the income tax been referred to?
Well, we discussed it, so I assumed it was.
It was referred in the state of the city.
Yeah, it was referred. Thursday.
Back in early March.
And then it was put off, and then it was put off again.
Yeah, then we decided, because we're waiting for more data from the income tax revenue, to put it off so we have better revenue estimates and a better idea of what we're gonna be needing. So we're gonna be compiling the data, And then I'm sure we'll make the announcements when we're going to discuss it, so.
All right, anybody else? All right, moving on. Consideration of legislation for the first time. Proposed resolution 211-2022, originating from finance. Go ahead.
All right. Proposed resolution 211-2022, authorizing and directing the Public Service Safety Director on behalf of the City of Bucyrus, Ohio, to enter into an agreement with the Bucyrus Tourism and Visitors Bureau, Inc. to promote tourism and attract visitors and conventions to the Bucyrus City area retroactive from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, and also from January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, at a cost of 50% of the bed tax collected pursuant to the ORC Section 717.20 and ORC 5739.09 B1, further authorizing and directing the Bucyrus City Auditor to issue a warrant or warrants from the appropriate appropriation or appropriations in payment for said services. Proposed ordinance 13-2022. Oh, I'm sorry. I did it backwards. Trust me. Proposed ordinance 14-2022, creating Bucyrus Codified Ordinance, Chapter 929 of the Title 5 Sewers of Part 9 Streets, Utilities and Public Service Code of the Codified Ordinances, Bucyrus, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
All right, do I have a first accepting this as the first reading?
Who was first? I'm sorry.
Mark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, referring back to the originating committee, proposed resolution 211-2022 referring back to finance, and proposed ordinance 14-2022 referring back to service. Consideration of proposed legislation for the third and final time.
Proposed ordinance 13-2022, amending and supplementing section 925.03 entitled Rates under chapter 925 entitled Sewer Service Charges, under Title 5 Sewers, under Part 9 entitled Streets, Utilities and Public Services Code of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Bucyrus.
Do I have a motion to accept this as the final reading?
So, second.
Take.
What?
I have Ms. Sherrick and Mr. Wireball.
It's fine by me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Granting permission for the general public for input on the legislation being read for the first and last time. All right, there being none. Committee report on pending legislation, proposed resolution 211-2022, tourism contract, finance.
Finance is favorable to proposed resolution 211-2022, tourism contract.
Proposed ordinance 13-2022, EPA stormwater, finance.
Finance is favorable to the proposed ordinance 13-2022, EPA stormwater.
Proposed ordinance 14-2022, stormwater ordinance, service.
Service is approved. Proposed ordinance 14-2022, stormwater ordinance.
Further consideration of pending legislation for the third reading. Do I have to read it again? We don't have to read it again.
No, we have to vote on it.
Right. Proposed ordinance 13-2022, EPA stormwater.
So moved.
No. It's a roll call vote.
Oh, roll call. I'm sorry.
Roll call vote.
Roll call.
I didn't hear who was second.
It's a roll call vote, so just go down the line.
Oh, okay. McKeever?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Potter?
Yes.
Sherrick? Yes. Spiegel?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Sorry.
Ordinance 13-2022,
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
Now we need motion to adopt.
right, sorry. May I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Spiegelman,
Spiegel and who, I'm sorry?
Sherrick.
Sure. Spiegel first?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Spiegel?
Yes.
Sherrick?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
McKeever?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Potter?
Yes.
Ordinance 13-2022 is duly adopted. Proposed ordinance 14-2022 is an emergency stormwater ordinance. For the second, wrong side, sorry. For the second and third reading, the proposed ordinance 14-2022, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the readings of the caption and text, and declare an emergency?
Second.
Okay, McKeever?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Potter?
Yes.
Sherrick?
Yes.
Spiegel?
Yes.
Young?
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 14-2022?
So moved. Second.
Is that you, Britton? And then Terry? Okay. Sorry. Potter?
Yes.
Spiegel?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
McKeever?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Wireball?
Yes.
Sherrick?
Yes.
Ordinance number 14-2022 is duly adopted. Do we have any old or unfinished business?
Right here.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to reconvene the ad hoc committee. I'd like to make a motion to do that.
I'll second that.
Do you want to name the names again for the committee members? Just
I'm not, I can't remember who was it. It was, yeah, the three old
just
people.
for the sake of the record, I was just asking if you
No,
wanted to
that's
name the
fine. I
names.
would prefer-
I think it would be for the clarity's
I
sake.
agree.
The ad hoc committee of,
Council rules and
Miss-
procedures.
yeah, for council rules. Ms. Sherrick, Ms. Vermillion, Mr.
McKeever?
McKeever, and Mr. Myers.
He's new here.
Yeah. I was gonna call him Mr. Mark, but.
All right, I have a first by Mr. Wireball, a second by Ms. Sherrick. All those in favor? Any opposed? And we will be holding that meeting when, sir? This Thursday?
Do we want to have a request to put it on the agenda for Thursday with the, because it would be a special meeting. Put it on for Thursday.
With everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot on Thursday, so I wonder if we want to do it
It-
elsewhere or,
It needs to get done.
understood. Put it on the agenda for Thursday. I believe there's a special council meeting. My suggestion would be let's have our committee meetings, then the special council meeting, and then the ad hoc meeting,
It's after the public hearing.
after the public hearing.
Public hearing.
Yeah,
So-
I forgot that.
So-
Public hearing, council.
And that is what day? This Thursday?
Thursday.
So it's
The
after everything else?
Seven.
Okay.
Public hearing is 5:30, and the committee meets at 6, and then special council meeting
April 7th.
following for the public hearing information.
All right, you'll have to make sure that that gets put on documents on demand.
The, oh, yeah.
The ad hoc.
Hmm?
All
Does
right.
it, did we say, I'm sorry, I can't hear, did we say what it was regarding, or do I need to say what it's regarding, or just say special ad hoc?
It's council rules and procedures.
Council rules, procedures, sorry.
No, you're fine. Mr. Foat?
I apologize for running late, and I just heard that you guys have a heck of an agenda for Thursday. I actually, the reason that I stopped up is I wanted to see if it was possible. I believe it's already in open committee, or it's an open project in committee. I'm just not sure exactly what committee. But I would like to see the abandoned property ordinance looked at again and possibly something done with it this time. I know I'm not the only one that has a house in their neighborhood that's abandoned and has been sitting abandoned for more than a few years, and it's bringing down the neighborhood, so.
Yes, sir.
It is an open project in health and safety,
I thought so.
so we can at least throw it on the agenda.
Like I said, I know you guys are.
See, and I'll converse with Mr. Gerner to see if he's got any additional information from the last time we talked. I think the receivership that we're going to discuss may actually take care of a portion of that, so he and I will discuss and put it on the agenda appropriately.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Mhm. All right, any new and miscellaneous business? The only thing that I have is that the Board of County Commissioners has set a public hearing date for the proposed wind farm on Thursday, April 21st at 1 PM at the Crawford County Fairgrounds Youth Building on Whetstone Street. So if anybody's interested, for or against, you're more than welcome to attend. Have your voices heard. Anything else? We have no excused absences. We have referral for receivership. I believe we already addressed that, didn't we?
Yep.
Yes,
The health
okay,
and
so that's
safety.
done. May I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 8:10.